Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What if you laughed all through your commute? Or if you heard the funniest story while at the gym? Well, now you can. I'm Jamila Jamil, and guests on my new podcast, Wrong Turns, share their most mortifying and hilarious disaster stories. I'm talking people like Mae Martin, Bob the Drag Queen, Katherine Ryan, Jake Johnson, Margaret Cho, Simon Pegg, Penn Badgley, and so many more. So listen wherever you get your podcast, Wrong Turns, where dignity goes to die.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com. Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, you know, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
All right, mics are hot.
Welcome to this week's episode of Movie in a Pod. I am Clyde Smith.
I am Javier Villalobos.
On this week's episode, we are talking about the new CW show Superman and Lois, another great episode of WandaVision, and our movie of the week, Tom and Jerry.
Clyde, the CW Superman and Lois. What did you think of the premiere?
Man, this was long awaited. I know Greg Berlanti, who is, been working on all these CW DC shows, has really been wanting to put a staple Superman show on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think this format is going to work. It reminds me a lot of that 90s, The Adventures of Lois and Clark, Superman The Adventures of Lois and Clark, which I did not enjoy as a kid. Not going to lie. Very boring. It was more drama than it was action.
I agree with that.
I do think that the way they're going to do here on CW is they're going to mix the two, right? There's that family drama. There's that Smallville drama, but Superman's also going to whip ass and take names. So
I agree with that. Yeah, it was very touching on the family aspect of Superman. You know, we always see Superman and his mom. We know the Superman, story of Superman and his dad, and really we know story of Superman and Lois, but we don't know stories about their kids.
Yeah, and him as a father, right? That's going to be very interesting to watch. I'm not sold yet, to be honest with you. I have to see more. And the reason why I say that is because this is why Batman doesn't have any kids. He doesn't have to deal with this drama of family and having to, rely on them and crap like that. So we'll see, man.
Well, I think that's a big thing that separates Superman and Batman altogether is Superman's about that life, and he grew up with a family and everything. Bruce Wayne didn't. He didn't have that warmth in his heart as he was growing up.
You're right. It was just him and Alfred. I'm excited about it, man. I will definitely watch the next few episodes before I cast my judgment. If it does fall in line to being like the Adventures of Superman of Lois and Clark, I'm out. I'll be out real quick. So
I got you. That's fair enough.
What about that episode of WandaVision, man? What do you think?
I think this is one of the most informative shows we've gotten. Informative episodes. Everything else has been build up. Her kind of starting to show herself a little bit, and then all of a sudden we get almost everything we've been missing from the last few episodes.
Yeah, I like it. Right? Josh Whedon created this character, wrote this character for the MCU back in 2014 for the 2015 movie Age of Ultron, and she was just there with her powers. And you've always saw her with her powers. You didn't see anything before that. But I like that we were able to see her as a young girl with her family,
Mhm.
why we're having all these sitcom type shows going on, how she actually got her powers was cool. And remember the story that Quicksilver, the real Quicksilver, Aaron Taylor Johnson, said in Age of Ultron they were waiting for that missile, that Stark missile, to go off, and it never did.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were able to see that now on screen, I'm sitting there with my wife, and I'm like, this shit's kind of cool.
Very. Yeah, we get visuals to a lot of the stories we've heard her talk about and heard him talk about as well.
Also, was it just me, or did the director douche face lie to everybody? Did he not say that she came in and stole Vision and showed a video as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was definitely manipulating everybody. I think is what his plan was. He wanted everybody on his side. He didn't want to say, we actually still have Vision and we're working on a weapon for him.
Yeah.
So he was just trying to cover up the program they were working on.
Oh,
but yeah, he definitely lied to everybody's face.
Also, what about all the Agatha Harkness memes? Have you been seeing those?
Those are fantastic.
Right. If I see those, man, I'm definitely going to try to put them on our socials.
Yeah.
They are definitely good, man. If anybody's, for all of our listeners, if you guys see them as well, please share them with us so we can get them out there. Those things have been hilarious. So please share.
And now we got to watch to the end of every WandaVision episode after the credits.
They're just dropping post-credit scenes now. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing I got to keep an eye on. But yeah, this was one of my favorites so far. Like I said, a lot of information that we got to fill in some plot holes with. Or not plot holes, but missing storylines.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed. All right. Like we said, we will be talking about Tom and Jerry. This movie is directed by Tim Story. Tim Story is a music director who turned into a movie director. He's directed Fantastic Four films, the ones with Jessica Alba, Think Like a Man and Think Like a Man 2, directed Barbershop, Ride Along, and a few Kevin Hart stand-up specials. But like I said, he really has his roots as a music video director, and you can tell how he incorporates a lot of music into all of his movies. So, this was written by Kevin Costello, this movie, but the characters of Tom and Jerry are from the old school Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Javi, were you a fan of the Tom and Jerry cartoons growing up?
Oh yeah, love cartoons. Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, all them guys. A blast. Always made me enjoy waking up early in the morning.
I remember having a cold bowl of cereal before mom and dad got up.
People have warm bowls of cereal. That's what you implied just now.
I think it's called oatmeal. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Staying correct.
But also, sitting down and watching these cartoons, right? And you're just fascinated with, everybody's a fan of Jerry the mouse, but I'm like, is this cat ever going to get this damn mouse, man? Like, I was trying to find ways for him and scheme ways for him to catch his damn mouse, and nothing me and Tom ever did helped, man. You're
writing letters to him with plans, schematics, and stuff.
Oh yeah. Who's in this movie, Javi?
We got Chloe Moretz as Kayla Forrester. She is going to be an employee of this hotel. We got Michael Pena as Terrence Mendoza, who is fantastic. He's a events manager. And we have Rob Delaney as Henry Dubrow. He is the GM and owner of this hotel.
Yeah.
And these are basically our three main people through the whole movie.
Yeah, these are three live action, actual human beings in the movie.
Right. That's important. That is very important.
Yeah.
The budget for this movie was $50 million.
They did a lot with a little bit of money, man. And in the grand scheme of things, how movies are made these days, $50 million is not a lot making a movie. And they definitely did a lot with a little, so definitely enjoyable.
And this is another one that was released by Warner Brothers on HBO Max, so you can go there and stream it. I think until around the end of this month, end of March, excuse me.
So, Javi, before we actually dive in, go ahead and tell everybody, what is this movie about?
It's about Tom and Jerry chasing each other. It's the same shit's been going on for years. But it's a cool twist on their universe as well.
Yeah. I think they really brought it out for, this generation, Tom and Jerry. So thoroughly enjoyed there. So
I really enjoy movies like this where it's like cartoons or animated, anything just in the real world.
Yep.
It's just funny to see, and it's like, what would you do if you really saw like a cartoon mouse on the sidewalk,
Well, the cool thing about this is, and this is a tidbit for everybody going into this movie, every animal that you see in this movie is animated. Every single animal. There's not a single animal in here that is not animated and that is live action. So that's actually a really cool twist on it. So guys, this movie opens up with one of my favorite songs of all time, A Tribe Called Quest, Can I Kick It? All right. And the opening scroll, and they're saying everybody who's starring in this movie or voiced in this movie is rapping Can I Kick It? It's the birds, and they're animated birds, and they're flying through the city and they're singing it. So very cool opening. They're all dancing and rapping and singing and having a good time. And then we go down to see a train. And on the train, we see Tom making his way to New York City with his keyboard.
FYI, his full name is Thomas A. Cat.
Which, honestly, I did not know that they both had full names until this movie, right? So I thought that was a really cool kick on it, which... Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's chilling on the train. He's catching a ride to wherever he's going, and he's got a humongous keyboard with him.
Yeah,
right. He's just carrying that big ass keyboard around.
The next scene is Jerry looking for a new place to live in New York City, and his rat realtor, shows him this old, beat up, disgusting car, and he's like, well, Jerry, with your budget, this is the only thing you can afford. And as the rat turns around, Jerry's gone. Right? Yeah. He goes, "Did you just Batman me?"
Yeah. Yeah. He looks around, and there's like a little chalk outline of a mouse as well.
And then we cut back to Tom. He's walking around New York City with aspirations to perform on stage, playing the keyboard, playing the piano with somebody like John Legend. There's a billboard of John Legend, and Tom kind of thinks that, maybe I can do that one day.
Then we see Jerry, full name Jerome. Jerome A. Mouse. We see him, he's on the sidewalk. He pulls out this list of all these apartments or all these places he's marked off in his apartment search, if you will. And then this bird scoops him up. They get to Central Park, and the bird drops him, and then we see Tom playing his keyboard, right? He's pretending to be a blind cat keyboard player to make some money.
Yeah.
And he's got some chops. Let me give it to him.
He's definitely able to tickle the ivories, okay?
So Jerry starts to dance. He puts up a sign and see the dancing mouse, and he's trying to get Tom's tips, and Tom gets mad and starts attacking Jerry. They scrap, and Tom gets his keyboard broken.
Yeah, this is one of the first legendary Tom and Jerry chases through Central Park happens after this, right? So they're running through Central Park, and Tom is doing everything he can, using all his will and strength to get this mouse, but Jerome is just always a step ahead, man. I love that his real name is Jerome, by the way, okay?
Yeah. So then we see Chloe Moretz as Kayla Forrester. She's riding her bike with a bunch of laundry piled up in the front basket of it. And Tom comes running through and crashes into all her laundry and knocks her off her bike. And then we see Jerry hopped on a carriage, like a horse-drawn carriage, and he's rolling down the park, and he waves bye to Tom. Kayla asks if Tom's okay, and in normal cartoon fashion, he gets hit by a truck.
Yeah.
another day in Tom's life at this point.
The next scene is Tom and Jerry, and they're running, and Jerry finds his new home. Jerry gets into this hotel, and it's the Royal Gate Hotel. And he gets into the hotel, and he's making his way and everything. And then Tom also gets to the glass front door of the hotel, automatically gets bounced by the doorman and gets thrown across the street. Jerry, looking around the whole hotel, actually finds a nook in the hotel and sets up his shop. Basically sets up his new home, and then he has this vision of how his mouse bachelor pad is going to flow.
One thing we kind of skipped over that's part of the going forward is when he tries to sneak into the loading dock area, right?
Oh, yeah.
The door smashes on his head like 7 times. It goes up a little bit and it smashes down. It keeps smashing down even faster and faster. And he gets caught up with these alley cats back there. And they're trying to fight him, saying that he was sneaking into their hotel because it's their alley. Yeah. So it's their hotel. And then we see animal control roll up, and Tom whistles at him. And when the alley cat looks at the animal control, looks back, he's holding a mop, right? Tom's been slid out. So they all run because the fuzz is after him.
So we go back into the hotel. We see Kayla walk in, and the doorman goes looking for a free meal again. Yeah. Kayla's walking around eating some cookies and sees a girl sitting down in the lobby. This girl tells Kayla that she is there for an interview to work at the hotel for the weekend for this big event that's happening. The girl tells Kayla that the hotel is hiring, but they are very exclusive. Kind of given that snob look that, Kayla doesn't fit the description or what they're looking for.
She tells her, she says they're not going to hire you. Yeah. She didn't hold back anything.
Kayla's very quick-witted and smart on her feet, tells her that she has failed the test and that she isn't getting the job, as she let all this discreet information out that the hotel did not want to get out. Kayla asks and then takes the girl's resume and tells her that she isn't right for the hotel. The girl, kind of upset, just gets all her stuff and leaves. And this is weird, right? Kayla now has this resume. She's in this hotel. You know that she is in need of a job. She takes the resume to the receptionist and asks for a job. Bold, okay? Yeah, so she rips the top off of the resume where Linda's name was. That was the girl's name. So the name is no longer there. But the receptionist calls Mr. Dubrow and Terrence to interview her right away for this job.
Yeah, so Kayla walks into Mr. Dubrow's office, and Terrence is in there with him. And he hands the resume, and she makes up this story. We see her, quick-witted thing. She says, I had to tear off this piece of paper because somebody was going to put some gum under a table. So I had to be real quick and stop that from happening. She makes up a lot of BS through this whole thing, trying to get this job.
She's lying, okay?
A lot.
She
She tries to joke with Terrence about some stuff, and we realize real quick that Terrence, who is played by Michael Pena, he doesn't take jokes very well, right? He's very serious about his job, and he takes himself very serious. So she convinces him, and they say, can you start today?
So Kayla accepts, stays at the hotel, and has her uniform. You could just tell there's this montage of her getting ready for her first day, and she's really excited, has a nice little hotel room. She's in good shape right now. For somebody who was who got fired or quit her job in the beginning of the movie, a few minutes later, lucky enough, I wish it really worked like this, she has a dope job, right?
She's playing with the radio breaker 19, right? Which is what you do when you get a radio for the first time.
I mean, that's what I do. I try to do this with these mics, but you don't respond. So, Clyde, can we just do the pod, man?
Stop saying over, please. There's no button on these things.
So she starts her first day, and Terrence is showing her around the hotel and the history of the hotel. They walk around from all the rooms, all the marble floors and everything. And that, for this hotel, this wedding that's going to be happening, they're wanting positive press from this, so have more people stay, so they get more prestige, so they'll be the best hotel on the East Coast. They go into the kitchen, and we see Chef Jackie, played by the amazing Ken Jeong, yelling at his whole staff for perfection. We quickly find out that Chef Jackie is really passionate about his work, right? And Terrence does not want to stay there long, so he goes, we should definitely get out of here. During this time, we see a lot of shots of Tom trying everything he can to get into the hotel. We also see shots of Jerry furnishing his new mouse bachelor pad, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll talk about his pad here in a few minutes.
So this is like the grand setup of our main stage, and our main stage is this beautiful hotel. Then Terrence and Kayla are still walking around, and they meet Joy the Bell Girl, who's played by Patsy, and she's kind of scary. I think Terrence even says that he thinks that she was raised by wolves. Yeah. Terrence and Kayla continue to walk, and Terrence shows her the crowning jewel, this beautiful open glass ceiling that just has all this sunlight coming through, and it's right there over the lobby, which you can tell that's Terrence's favorite thing about the hotel, because he spends most of his time just staring at it in awe.
We also get introduced to Gavin the doorman, Cameron the bartender, played by Jordan Bolger, and then we meet the VIPs, and Terrence asks Cameron, why are you pouring champagne in the middle of the day, right? I was told to do it because the VIPs are here. And then Terrence starts freaking out because the VIPs are there, right? We meet the bride and groom of this wedding, the big event going on at the hotel. We meet Ben, the groom, who's played by Colin Jost. Then we have Preeta, his fiance. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Pallavi Sharda, maybe. We also meet their pets, Spike, which is Ben's bulldog, and Toodles, who is Preeta's cat.
Yeah, I like Spike. Spike is voiced by the great Bobby Carnival. So this is another animal outside of Tom and Jerry who has a speaking role. Spike's one of my favorite characters in this movie.
I don't even think the cat talked at all, right?
Yeah, the cat did not. I didn't know the cat even had a name until you said Toodles. Yeah.
She calls him Toots. Toots. So immediately, Toots the cat is laying in Kayla's arms. She's really taking a liking to her. Spike's being a little wild because Jerry's messing with him at this time. He's teasing him with some treats. And I like when Ben says, he says, yeah, he can be a handful. He's a little animated sometimes, right?
Right. And let's describe Spike. Spike is a American bulldog, and because he's animated, he's humongous, okay? Yeah. He is like a horse. He's a big old dog, man. So
yeah, and Toodles is like a white cat that's completely spoiled.
Yeah.
Right. She's definitely a princess in this situation. And they start talking, Ben and Preeta talking to Kayla and Terrence, talk about the wedding and all this stuff. And Kayla brings up Preeta's ring, which is a gigantic rock, right? Humongous. And we see Jerry's eyes light up real big when he sees this ring.
Oh, yeah.
This is a little thief, right? He's a thief.
I mean, he's snuck while they're standing right there trying to get checked in. He's going through their luggage and starts stealing a bunch of crap, right? Right. Damn it, Jerome.
Jerome, they're thieving, right?
So you can start seeing that also Kayla, who has her street smarts and everything, the couple start taking a shine to her. She tells them about this great spot that Spike can run around and they can get some lunch, and it's kind of secluded and quiet, but also fun. So they really appreciate that. Jerry, as he's walking away with his big score, we'll put it like that.
Oh, yeah.
He ends up in the kitchen and scares the staff and steals some cheese.
This is one of the things I really liked about this movie, because it happens a couple of times. The aroma of the cheese, right? It's just like it was in the cartoons. It's just a little jet stream of smell. And as soon as he catches in his nose, he starts floating. Right? He just brings him to the cheese every time.
Oh yeah. The bride and groom, as they're heading up to their room, about to hit the hotel, they hear a scream, and Terrence tries to calm that storm. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's just somebody seeing their room for the first time. This happens all the time at this hotel."
Screams of delight.
You know, screams of delight. The rooms are beautiful. So Terrence knows he has to investigate this. So he actually has somebody else bring them to their room. And Terrence and Kayla go to the kitchen, and Chef Jackie is there, scared only because doesn't want this to get out, right? There is a mouse there, and they're going to figure out like how we're going to get poison control. What are we going to do? And Kayla vows to catch it. Terrence says that this mouse problem can't get out. Don't put it on the bookie book or the TikTok. Can't let this information get out. There's a mouse in the house, right?
Yeah. Supposed to be very discreet, which is a key term right here because it doesn't happen. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So now we get to see Jerry's dope new crib in this hotel, right?
Oh my God, I'm jealous for this damn mouse.
He's done the interior design. He's got a iPhone TV, AirPods surround sound. He made a bed out of a slipper, and then he's got a baller diamond ring chandelier, right?
He's got it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of other fun stuff in there too when you see that clip. Kayla sets up a mouse trap in the next scene. She's sitting there watching, and then the bartender Cameron comes up behind her and scares her. She explains to him that she's on a mouse hunt, and Jerry comes around the corner, gets caught up in this cheese smell, right? He drops all the stuff he's stealing right there he's at and goes over to the cheese. And I really like this because when he's looking at the trap, it's got like a little garnish on it, a little lettuce leaf. And then under the cheese is a red mouse outlined with like X's for Kayla's talking to Cameron about how hard can it be to catch a little mouse, and Jerry gets a little offended, right? When Kayla turns back around to the mouse trap, Jerry left her some money and a note that said, get you a better trap.
Right. He's Jerome, I'm going to call him Jerome moving forward, right? He is a smart little mouse and loves to play games. I think about it now. Tom has always just been the cat trying to chill, and it was Jerome, who always started picking the fights, man. So all Tom did was just react, right? I think that's the way it's always been. I see it now clear as day that Jerome's the asshole, okay?
Picks on Tom a lot. That's true.
So the next scene is Tom is outside in the rain at night with his broken keyboard, trying to play his broken keyboard, and he looks up and sees Jerry in the window, living it up in this hotel room, right? Mm-hmm. For some reason, Jerry has this whole hotel room. He found an empty hotel room. He's living it up, drinking champagne, watching TV, music is going, having a ball. And then we got Tom's angel and devil thoughts kind of on his side. So you got the angel on one side and the devil on one side, and they're trying to sway him, which way to handle this. And that's a really cool scene. And this movie wouldn't continue and be a Tom and Jerry if you listen to the angel. So we'll just leave it at who won that bout. So Tom does everything in his power to go after Jerry. And I'm not going to spoil this scene right here, but this is really fun.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Right? Where he does multiple things and tries multiple times to get to this damn mouse and just fails every time. And it's funny. It's comical. It's definitely a good time. Mind you, I have to put this here. I don't want PETA coming after us, right? No animal was harmed during the making of this film, ladies and gentlemen, okay?
Yeah, because this movie would have been over, like, at the beginning, right?
But yeah, this is a really fun little scene. Clyde, Tom, and Jerry trying to get to one another there. So when Jerry thinks that he's finally won and that Tom is no longer a threat, he starts watching TV, post up. Tom finds a way in, and they start their classic fight chase sequence in the hotel room, and
they destroy that thing.
I mean, if you guys remember all those like rock bands from like the 70s and the 80s destroying hotel rooms, this is what this damn cat and mouse did, okay?
Yeah. Kayla's on the hunt for this room now because they've had some noise complaints. She gets to the room, she opens the door, and she catches Tom standing on the bed, right, with like a bottle he was just using to hit Jerome with. But he's gone. The mouse is gone. And it's just Tom standing by himself. This is a little fun part where Kayla and Tom are trying to communicate. Basically, Tom's doing charades to get his point across to her that there was a mouse there, and he wasn't the only one in there that destroyed this room. Yeah. And she immediately turns her anger, to the mouse, and they kind of agree that they're going to do something about Jerry. So I want to say, too, at this point, they're doing an awesome job, I thought, of the face animations for Tom. I mean, he really doesn't have to say nothing. You can just look at his face and...
says it all, yeah.
It says it all every time, or just his hands and body language. So the next scene is in Henry's office, the owner of the hotel. And at some point in all this that was going on, Jerry was taking scans of himself on a printer, right? So he's looking through those pictures, and it's like, some glamour shots, and then a scan of his butt. He had a scan of Jerry's butt in front of him looking at. And Kayla's trying to convince him to hire Tom to help catch this mouse.
Instead of the poison control, yeah.
Yeah, and they end up hiring Tom, right? He gets him a hat, he gets him a badge, and he's official. He's an employee of this hotel.
This is one of my favorite scenes because Mr. DeRose is like, yeah, this is a good idea. As long as we can get him a hat and a name tag, right? He could be one of our employees.
A jaunty hat. Right?
And Terrence is like, are you kidding me? We're gonna hire a freaking filthy alley cat is what we're gonna do, right?
So she's a temp. She can't even hire people.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, like she doesn't even have the power to hire anybody. Yeah. I do love Michael Pena and his deliveries in this movie. It's fun.
Yeah. So she convinces them to do all that because that's what they did at one of the other competitors' hotels. Tom gets a job, right?
Awesome, guys. We're going to take a quick break. While we're on this break, we wanted to take a moment and thank our listeners. Thank you all for subscribing and listening to Movie in a Pod.
And we want to engage with you a lot more on all of our cinematic adventures. So Movie in a Pod now has a Facebook page.
Let's discuss recent trailers, favorite movies, and what's coming down the pipeline for all of our viewing pleasure. Sicario,
Men in Black,
Casino Royale,
Big,
Leprechaun,
Halloween,
Zoolander,
Crazy Stupid Love,
and our guilty pleasure, Never Back Down.
Don't forget, we are also on Twitter and Instagram at Movie in a Pod.
Let's chat about movies, guys. And we're back. So what's going on right now, Javi?
Tom and Jerry have met. They are already kind of going at each other. Jerry has a dope new pad. Kayla's been given a tour, introduced to everybody in the hotel, and Jerry's been spotted by the staff. Now Kayla's on the hunt to capture him and trying to keep it as discreet as possible. And she has taken on the hired hitman, Tom, the cat, right? Thomas a cat. And he's now working for the hotel, and he's there to help her find Jerry.
Yeah, so that leads us here. Kayla and Tom set out to catch Jerry. Terrence figures out Kayla, this is a small scene, and that she's a millennial who gets whatever she wants, and she's and they see the difference in each other, where he works very, very hard for everything that he's got, but, she uses her quick wits and everything to basically advance her in her life.
Yeah.
Tom takes off, finds a note attached to a shrink congratulating him on the new job. I wonder who the hell that is from. Mm-hmm. Tom is so focused at this door, thinking that it's the mouse behind the door. He doesn't even notice that Jerry hands him a bat and for him to strike at Jerry. And, it's funny because Jerry hands him the bat and Jerry just kind of walks off of, the shot.
Yeah.
Tom opens this door and starts beating something. You don't really know what he's beating or who he's beating at this time. And it's actually Spike, the dog. Tom gets scared, starts to run away, but Spike catches him super quick and not happy and totally threatens Tom. So right now we have a cat chasing a mouse, and we have a dog who has threatened a cat, and the cat is scared of the dog, right? So all the old animal tropes going on here right now in this hotel, it soon will be a recipe for disaster.
After he hits Spike, Spike steps out and he's got like a humongous knot on his head, right? Tom tries to push it down and it comes up in another spot. Classic cartoon stuff. Spike tells him, if I see you again, I'm going to bash your head in. He closes the door and Spike opens the door again and starts beating him. And he says, I saw you again. Right? And he takes off. So next scene, we see Toots, and she spots Jerry carrying a bunch of stuff that he's acquired from this hotel. Right? Some stuff he's taken back to his place. And she immediately freaks out on him. So she jumps over him and she hits that superhero landing on the other side of him, right? Like 3-point stance. And they start to chase each other. Well, excuse me. She chases him around. He hits an air vent and he's inside, and she grabs him, but she can't get him back out because he can't get it through the air vent holes. Then we hear Prita call her and she lets him go, and he's like, okay, all right, we made it past that one. That was a close one.
Yep. We kind of see Tom on the hunt after that, right? He's sniffing around. He's moving and grooving through the whole hotel looking for this damn mouse, unable to find them. There's a little bit of exposition here between him and Kayla, and what I mean by that, Tom draws a dead or alive stick figure of the cat, and Kayla's basically talking the whole time, so not your normal exposition kind of scene. But after this, Joy, the scary bellhop girl, kind of sneaks up and tells Kayla to check out the tiny little door on the 10th floor.
Yeah. She says, are you you're looking for a mouse, right? Have you tried the tiny little door? She didn't say nothing to anybody about this tiny little door on the 10th floor at all.
Yep. The next scene is the three of them approaching that door. Kayla kind of kneels down and knocks on the door, and Jerry walks out in a towel, goes, like he's in a shower or something. Yeah. Steam billowing out. He goes back in and comes out without the towel, so now he's clothed. I'm confused. Yeah. So Jerry comes back out and he hands her a card, and it's this tiny little card that says that he's a mouse. It's a scented card. It's a really fancy card, right? She tells him that he must go, or that she will introduce her enforcer. And then Tom walks up looking all badass, scary, and Jerry just laughs. In normal fashion, Tom and Jerry start chasing each other, right? Oh. Tom is trying to get them, and they're running around Kayla, and Kayla's kind of spinning with them and everything. Jerry gets away and then goes to take a bath. Went to go finish up his scrub-a-dub-dub, I guess. Kayla gets automatically told through the walkie-talkie to meet Terrence in the bridal suite.
So now they're in the suite with Ben and Prita. Terrence and Kayla are talking back and forth about wedding stuff. There's boxes all over the place in this humongous room. Ben's playing a golf simulator. They're talking about wedding stuff, and Ben brings up elephants. Tells Terrence, what do you think about elephants? He says, I think they are great, noble creatures. And then they spin off to a bunch of stuff. And something fun I liked here was he looks over at the cat, Toots, right, sitting on the chair. And the cat's like clawing at the chair, like she's trying to sharpen her claw. And then the cat looks right back in his eyes and just scratches the side of the chair. Like, yeah, this is happening right now.
I am in your hotel effing it up. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of talking back and forth, and a lot of kind of going back and forth about the story in the wedding. And Terrence asks Prita, he says, do you need anything from us? Anything at all? And apparently Spike got into some burritos and needs to be taken out for a walk. And he's super excited like any other dog. He gives a leash in his mouth. He's running around by the door. She tells Terrence she wants to keep Kayla because they need to talk about some bridesmaid stuff. And we find out here that Prita's discovered her ring's gone. She's lost her ring, and she needs Kayla's help to find it. Then they lie to Ben about it being gone so that it can be cleaned.
Yeah, this is kind of cool because you can already tell that Prita and Ben have taken a liking to Kayla, and Prita went ahead and confided in Kayla about the ring being gone and that Ben's going to freak out when he finds out. So when Ben comes back out to talk to them, he immediately notices that the ring is gone, and Kayla steps in and says that it's gone, that she took it to go get it cleaned. And you can see on Prita's face that she was like, she's looking out for me, kind of a full service hotel help there. So
when he asks her about it, he's like, where's your ring? She says, what? He says, the one I bought, for love. This dude, he's funny because it's so dry.
Yeah,
he does a good dry humor through this whole thing.
Yeah, Colin Jost is, he's from Saturday Night Live and does all the writing and the Weekend Update. He's really funny here because he's so dry and boring.
Right.
And so I like it actually when he walks away on this scene where he's like, oh, awesome. Well, let us know what kind of gratuity that we need to add to your help. And she goes, whatever you think, sir. And he walks away and he goes, I love you. I mean, you both, but in different ways, And then very, very dry, but delivers that. I love it.
So Terrence is out walking Spike, right? They're out on the street, and Spike's dragging around everywhere. They're in a crosswalk, and Spike stops all of a sudden. He starts shaking. He drops it right there in the road, right in the crosswalk. Everybody's honking at Terrence. He's like, he did it on purpose. He did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Once that scene's done, we see Tom, and he's like, looks like he's in his like evil lair, right? He's sitting in front of a little easel, and he's sketching out plans to catch Jerry.
Yeah, this is a classic Tom and Jerry motif where he is devising a plan to finally catch his damn mouse, like he's going to do it. This is it. He has time and everybody else is away, and he is going to figure out how to catch this mouse. So we see that Kayla starts looking around for the ring and asking people, and we find out through exposition and then Jerry in the background listening in his little nook that he has the ring as a chandelier in his pad. To this mouse, it's just a dope looking chandelier. It's just, to Prita and Ben, it's this for love. That's what it means.
So he's back in his apartment there in the hotel, and he takes the ring down. All of a sudden, he's once again taken away by this cheese aroma. It carries him out the door, and there's a note there, and pulls on it, and it's a string attached to this elaborate, what they're called the Rube Goldberg traps, or Rube Goldberg machine, where it's just a ridiculous amount of stuff that ends up dropping a cage on top of Jerry.
Yeah.
And then we see Tom run in, and he puts the little cage Jerry's in a crate. Then he chains up the crate and he ships him off.
Tom finally did it.
Yeah.
Tom finally does it and catches this mouse and, waves to the mouse goodbye. We see Tom closing up the mouse hole, and he tells Kayla that Jerry is gone, right? Kayla then goes to DeBrose and tells him that the mouse is gone. And you see Ben and Prita in the background. They're looking at some stuff, and DuBrose notices that Prita likes and trusts Kayla. So DuBrose definitely sees the vibe that she's having with the guests.
I think out of like all the funny stuff in this movie, and there's a lot of funny things in this movie, but when he was nailing that little door shut and the board was all jacked up and the nails weren't in all the way, and then he like hit a hole through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was rolling. I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
It was good, man.
He's so innocent. He's like, I'm doing a good job. I did a good thing here, and it's the worst thing.
Yeah, Carmen and I, we watched this Friday night after dinner, and we were rolling, man. Because, you go into it, but really enjoyed it because there's a lot of good, funny bits in this movie. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kayla enters the bar. She's talking to Cameron, the bartender, about how the mouse is gone. And Tom's hanging out at the bar as well. There's a guy playing the piano, playing some jazz there. And they go back and forth about how they need to celebrate because she's completed her task. And then Tom hops on the piano, starts to play some jazz. And she's talking about how those little paws can move. Tom's got some soul. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Tom definitely has some soul there,
and he's playing this little like baby grand piano, and he sees Toodles, and he gets humongous hard eyes for this other cat. So he starts playing some blues piano, and then he starts singing. We've never heard Tom make any noise before. And I'm just saying, he may sound like T-Pain. That's all I'm throwing out there.
That's it. We'll leave it at that. If you guys are a fan of T-Pain, you'll enjoy this scene. If you don't like T-Pain, you're not going to like what happened here, right?
Nope.
But it's fun here. But while he's serenading this cat, Kayla and Cameron are talking, and Kayla explains that she's from a small town in Penn State and that she went to New York to, try to make it. Cameron tells her that, with her resume and her expertise, that she can make it anywhere. You see on Kayla's face, she's like, oh, I don't have any expertise. I don't have it, right? She doesn't divulge that information, but you can just see it on her face like, I really shouldn't be here right now.
Jerry drops a bowling ball on Tom's hand while he's playing the piano.
Jerry is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say it. Jerry's back, and it looks like he's been through some stuff too, right?
It looks like he's been through the wire right there.
He's all dirty and everything. And drops the bowling ball in his hand, and they start going at it on the piano, fighting each other again. And Kayla yells at him about it. They stop, and Jerry pulls out the ring. They try to come to an agreement of how she's going to get the ring back and how they're going to be able to stay in the hotel because they don't want to go nowhere.
Yep.
Then Terrence comes back with Spike, and he's still dragging him around. Jerry hides in Kayla's jacket, or in her pocket of her jacket, and Spike starts chasing Tom, and then Tom starts chasing Jerry. This was all caused because Terrence decided to reach into Kayla's pocket and catch the mouse.
Yeah.
We're back at, like you said earlier, we got a cat chasing a mouse, dog chasing a cat, and they end up in this big tornado fight. Big cartoonish tornado fight.
Oh, yeah.
They destroy this lobby. They absolutely destroy the lobby. They end up in an elevator. They go up to the next floor, and they're like on the roof or something, and then they break through the crown jewel of the hotel, the glass atrium.
Yep.
And literally just destroy this lobby from top to bottom. And Kayla finds the ring in her pocket. Jerry left it in there.
So the place is basically destroyed. Kayla, Terrence, and DuBrose are in a meeting in DuBrose's office, and DuBrose puts all this blame on Terrence and puts him on leave. I love this scene because Terrence is like trying to make sense of this decision. He goes, so you're telling me, right, that this girl, Kayla, who can't hired a cat, and it's the cat's fault, but I'm the one who's going to leave?
Yeah.
Right? Terrence is trying to make sense of this, and DuBrose, takes off his tag and has him walk out of the office. He's put on leave. DuBrose puts Kayla over all the wedding duties for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, she gets a promotion, right, out of all this mess that she caused. And yeah, this was a good scene for Michael Pena. He really let it out on this one. It was great. Tom and Jerry, now they're up on the roof, right? After Kayla just told, the Henry that everything was good, everything was taken care of. And Tom's chasing Jerry with an axe. Like, everything's not fine still. So Kayla tells them that she got a promotion and it's up to her now if they go or stay. And she tells them they got to go. They give her the sad eyes, crying, all that stuff. And she tells them, well, if you can prove to me that y'all can coexist, then y'all can stay. And she plans a day for them to spend together.
Away from the hotel on the wedding day. Yes. Very smart. The next scene is Tom and Jerry, and they meet at the front of the hotel and see this dope Escalade type vehicle, and they both hop in it, and they're on their New York adventure. They're taking selfies. Look like they're enjoying each other's company. They visit a museum. They eat pizza. They're at this seafood market, and they're just having a good time.
It looks like they're posting on Instagram, or somewhere. They're posting pictures of their adventure for the day,
right? And this is cut in between Kayla and what she's doing on the day of the wedding, getting it prepared. So Kayla is trying to put out fires. All the employees are yelling at her, and Chef Jackie says that there's a restaurant reviewer in the hotel for the wedding. Cameron says that the elephants have arrived, and which is a dope scene because we almost forgot that Ben wants elephants, and they're here. So she has them put by the valet, and it's just Kayla trying to put the wedding together at the hotel, finding difficulties in the way. The next scene we have is Prita in her bridal suite. Has this dress for Kayla, and Prita reveals that the wedding is crazy and that there's pressure to keep an image because they're like this social media power couple. And she admits she loves Ben, but this dude gets an idea. He goes really, really, really big.
Yeah. So the events of the day for Tom and Jerry, let me just say, Tom can't make it through a scene without getting hurt in some way.
Yeah.
So the events of the day lead them to a Yankees game, and there's a ball hit. Tom reaches over the wall and catches the ball right out of the outfielder's hand or glove. And they get taken away by animal control.
Now, this scene is reminiscent to the Chicago Cubs fan who caught that foul ball and, got basically blacklisted out of the city of Chicago. This is how, and it was funny because Jerry hands him the glove to catch this ball.
Right.
So Jerry is still being an asshole without even being an asshole. And Tom is like the one who catches this ball, right? I love this scene because it's straight out of like real life what happened to that guy with Chicago Cubs.
We see that Terrence sees that they're on the news for this. He's like in his apartment watching the news and sees them getting taken away by animal control. Kayla talks to Ben in the next scene. They're in the hotel and they're talking about overdoing things and maybe, Ben needs to pull it back a little bit, with all the elephants. Because at this point, Ben's flying a drone in the hotel, right?
Yes.
He just goes on and just doesn't quite get it still. It's not sinking into his head that he's doing way too much for this wedding and Prita is not okay with everything that's going on.
He actually thinks that he needs to go even bigger. It's funny because Kayla's like, you're my guest and I have to treat you with a lot of respect, but maybe you want to reel it in a little bit. And he goes, nah, I need to go bigger, right? Yeah. He does not get what she's putting down.
So at this point, Tom and Jerry, they are in, a shelter or animal control place. I'm not really sure which one it was, but they get locked up basically. And they're in a kennel and around them's a bunch of the alley cats they got caught earlier. The cats keep trying to grab Jerry. Jerry keeps running back and forth and there's cats all around him and Tom picks him up and we see Tom actually trying to protect Jerry at this point.
I like these cats. These cats are New York City alley cats and they're kind of hood. The main one, Butch, is actually voiced by Nicky Jam, who is this Latin music producer. This is a really cool scene with these cats, man. They have some funny moments and they really shine through here.
Yeah, they tell Tom, it says, if you don't eat the mouse, we're going to eat him. If we can't eat him, then you need to eat him. So he he picks Jerry up and drops him in his mouth and he just has his tail hanging out. Jerry's sitting inside of Tom's mouth and he starts a little fire, right? First he lights a match to look around. And then all of a sudden he's got a little campfire made and he's roasting a marshmallow inside of Tom's mouth.
Yeah.
Tom gets told that he has a visitor, right? Terrence is there to see them and he starts interrogating them and talking to them and trying to convince them that he's only able to take one of them back to the hotel, saying that the other one's saying that it's his fault and Tom's saying that it's Jerry's fault and going back and forth and working them.
I like that this animal control shelter was able to put Tom and Jerry in separate interrogation rooms and Terrence to basically like interrogate them, right? Pit them against each other, saying, Jerry says that you smell like rotten tuna.
Yeah.
Right? Talk junk, Tom is talking junk about Jerry and just going back and forth, and they only can choose one, man. This was a really fun scene.
Yeah, I've seen that back and forth in other cop shows, which is funny when they're just trying to turn people on each other. It was really good. It's the day of the wedding, back at the hotel. And we see Terrence and Tom show up. And we also see Prita and Ben. They're on these two elephants, which are Cecil and Malcolm are their names. They're sitting on like basically a throne on the back of these two elephants to come into the wedding. And Terrence starts talking to Tom. He's trying to make him mad about what's going on because they see Jerry in there grabbing like a bunch of cheese and trying to take a bunch of stuff off the the tables from the caterers, and he keeps talking to Tom and is like, oh, he gets to be here and all this stuff, and gets him real mad. At the same time, Ben's got his drone, right? The drone's there taking pictures of him, talking about going overboard. Military drone. Apparently he got the exotic bird package for the wedding as well.
these beautiful peacocks, right?
And there's a tiger. There's also a humongous tiger there. And like we said earlier, all these animals are cartoons.
Yep.
There's no real animals here. You can see Prita gets upset. She tells him, you just don't listen. Now Tom and Jerry are face to face, getting ready to go at it. And Tom pulls out a wooden sledgehammer. And then we see Jerry take that karate stance. You see that?
Yeah.
It should have you rolling too, dude. Oh, man. And then Tom starts chasing Jerry with this sledgehammer. They're about to destroy this cake, right? Jerry's standing up next to this cake, and Tom has his sledgehammer, and then we see Jackie, the chef. He comes in with like a paddle or something, something from his kitchen, and he starts beating the shit out this cake, right? Trying to catch Jerry. Jerry's having a good time. He's like inside the cake, he's smiling, eating cake while he's in there. And he really pisses off Jackie, and he starts really destroying this cake now. And then he hits Jerry across the room.
Yeah, he smacks Jerry into the elephants, and chaos erupts. Prita and Ben are bucked off the elephants, and they're caught by people, and destruction happens everywhere. This is a classic Hanna-Barbera animal storm cloud that like erupts, and there's just chaos and damage and everything going on here. This happens for a while. This does not stop, right? There's just destruction everywhere. You have the elephants roaming around. You have Tom, Jerry, you have the tiger, you have some of the exotic birds and everything all in this storm. Spike is in there as well. We have all this stuff going on, and all this destruction happens. It's really fun. And then eventually the elephants leave the hotel and just start taking off, up 42nd Street or wherever the hell they're going, right?
What I liked about the tornado fight, is like as it's going down, the animals are getting sucked into it, whether they want to be in it or not. Right? The people around are fine, but the animals, they're just holding on to stuff, and like the cat is getting sucked into the tornado. It's like they can't help it.
Yep.
And then there's a cool visual of inside of the tornado fight too.
After the storm, Kayla comes clean about who she really is. That she stole that resume. She doesn't have all this experience. That she has no qualifications for this job at all. Terrence is, happy that she finally stepped up, and he says he's about to salvage this wedding, and Prita interrupts and says that the wedding is off. Ben overhears this. Prita gives the ring to Ben and walks away. Kayla also apologizes and walks away. Kayla leaves the hotel, and then we see through the back alley, Terrence kicks out Tom, who curls up in a box to stay dry, right?
Yeah,
so,
super
sad for this animated cat, man. The next morning, Jerry comes through with 2 cups of coffee, and that's basically a peace offering to Tom. They make amends through their weird decades-long friendship and enemies. Kayla and Cameron meet up, and they're talking, and says that her intentions were good and that she'll get somewhere, but you got to work for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They meet up with Tom and Jerry, who just happens to be, I don't know, like there. it was so weird.
Like a street market or something.
Yeah, it's a street market, and they're just there. And they come up with a plan to fix the wedding and make this right between the two.
It's fun watching them communicate again. Kayla's just watching these two animals do charades and drawing pictures on a chalkboard. Cameron's like, you understand what's going on? Right? How do you know what's going on? She's like, after a while, you just kind of get to understand.
Yeah.
So Kayla goes back to the hotel, and she sends Tom and Jerry to get Prita. Prita just left in an SUV, and she was heading to JFK, that we found out from the doorman. Kayla talks to Ben about still being able to save the wedding, basically brings everybody back together. Terrence, Ben, the owner, everybody, so that they can save this wedding and get these two people back together.
I like 2 lines in here. Joy is like, we can use that garden across the street. And everybody's like, Central Park. And she goes, I mean, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Right. And I like Terrence here because he's like, you think we're just going to let you back in here? And Kayla gets close to him. And he goes, Tom and Jerry told me what you did, and this is all your fault, but I'm not going to tell Dubros. And he's just like, thank you.
Yeah, she's definitely good at manipulating people to get what she wants. It's just
definitely
part of that.
So the next scene is Tom and Jerry, and they're in hot pursuit on this Escalade SUV that Preeta and her cat are in, going to JFK, and they're on the hoverboard that Ben received in the bridal suite earlier. They're in hot pursuit, and you hear Kayla on some type of walkie-talkie talking to them that they need to turn left and turn right and go here, and that they need to get to her before she hits the bridge. This scene's really fun, right? We're not going to really spoil this for you, except for Jerry goes airborne on the drone, right?
That was awesome. That was an awesome scene.
Yeah, and Jerry eventually gets the cat on the drone and goes back towards the hotel, and Preeta tells the driver to turn around to go after the cat.
I like when they first show Preeta and Toodles the cat in the SUV, and they're both like sitting looking on their smartphones like the cat is. That's what made this movie good. Those little things like that.
It's fun, man.
So they follow Jerry and the cat on the drone back to Central Park. Preeta gets out and she's going to try to find the cat, and she comes upon their wedding setup. There's a sign that says Ben and Preeta's wedding, and she walks through the arch and she walks in, and everybody's there from the hotel and her wedding party. And they're all standing there dressed up. Kayla apologizes for her actions and the actions of Tom and Jerry as well. And Ben apologizes for not listening to her about what she wanted for the wedding and going too big.
Then the wedding commences and they are married. Tom and Jerry enjoy some food after the wedding. Terrence and Dubros say thank you to Kayla. And then Kayla actually introduces the real person whose resume that they stole, Linda.
Linda Pennybottom.
Linda Pennybottom. And you can tell Terrence is awestruck by this woman. He is a fan.
Oh, yeah.
He says a line like, yeah, I'll see you in my office tomorrow. I mean, I'll see you in Dubro's office tomorrow, right? Right, where he's kind of tongue-tied because he is infatuated with this girl.
Yeah, so they say, I'll see you tomorrow to Linda, and then Dubros looks at Kayla and says, and we'll see you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, she gets a job at the hotel. Let's go.
We see Toots walk over, and she takes a little rest on a table, and Tom starts playing the piano again, trying to impress her like he was doing before.
I like this because Jerry was like, bro, go get her, man.
Go talk to her, right? Yeah, we gave him the little shoulder bump to go talk to her.
Yeah.
So Jerry then starts jumping on the keys and makes this song that Tom is playing sound horrible. He flicks Jerry off the piano, and Jerry comes back and jumps on like a lever on the side of the pedestal he's sitting on, and like shoots him up in the air, and he falls down and busts through the top of the piano. And it's just the shape of him, right?
Yeah.
And then they all start chasing each other again. Spike too. Spike gets involved with that as well.
Yeah. And then the credits start rolling. And I like this, right? Once again, Tim Story is a music director background. He has some dope Rick Ross and Anderson .Paak playing. He always brings hot tracks. This movie has a post-credit scene. It's Terrence with Dubros and Ben. And Ben talks to Dubros saying, hey, I got billed twice for this wedding. And Dubros goes, yeah, I had Terrence run some numbers, and it doesn't look good for you, man. Dubros walks away, and Ben is looking at Terrence like what? What's going on? And Terrence just smiles and says, thank you for choosing the Royal Gate, and walks away.
We had to get him for all that elephant damage, right?
So much damage, man. So that was Tom and Jerry, directed by Tim Story. Javi, what do you think? What'd you think about this movie?
I loved it, man. I think it brought their world to ours in a very classic way. They didn't veer off the path from what Tom and Jerry was. And what Tom and Jerry is, just two animals that might fight each other.
Exactly.
But it was real, it was real funny. The humor was well placed. The actors were great. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. I gave it a 4 out of 5 buckets.
This movie was really fun.
Yeah.
I've watched it twice now. And the first time I was like, this is a cute kids movie. This is fun. The kids really get a kick out of this. Enjoyable. Michael Pena always shines. Chloe Grace Moretz is definitely coming and being a great actor as well.
She does a great job with her character.
Exactly.
Real animated, but not overly done.
Yeah, and what I really liked about it, especially watching it again this morning, was it's for the kids, but also adults can enjoy it as well. And the formula, the Hanna-Barbera formula for Tom and Jerry is still there. It's in the same exact format. They just bring a realistic format, a realistic storyline to the Tom and Jerry. So same formula, different era. That's what I really liked about it here. I gave this 3 buckets of popcorn, man. 3 buckets of popcorn. This was a solid movie. It's got some rewatchability. I think, I can sit down with my niece and we would both enjoy this. She's turning 4 in March.
I watched it by myself and I laughed the whole time. I was howling the whole time. It was hilarious.
Good deal, man. But yeah, this is just fun and kid friendly, and it was fun. It was definitely fun, man. All right. On the next episode, we are discussing the 2013 Jason Statham flick Homefront, available right now on Netflix to stream. We appreciate you guys listening. Once again, my name is Clyde Smith, and you can find me on Twitter as I am Clyde D. Smith.
I am Javier Villalobos. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J8200.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What if you laughed all through your commute? Or if you heard the funniest story while at the gym? Well, now you can. I'm Jamila Jamil, and guests on my new podcast, Wrong Turns, share their most mortifying and hilarious disaster stories. I'm talking people like Mae Martin, Bob the Drag Queen, Catherine Ryan, Jake Johnson, Margaret Cho, Simon Pegg, Penn Badgley, and so many more. So listen wherever you get your podcast, Wrong Turns, where dignity goes to die.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com. Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
This season on The Dream.
Supplies are being provided by nurses who run out in the middle of the night and purchase diapers, but the hospital is still charging as if they still have these items.
We are digging into every topic we've ever wanted to cover on this show.
It's a spinning plate analogy. The second that you stop spinning those plates, that crashes. So you can never stop working.
The Dream Season 4 comes at you weekly starting Monday, January 20th.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.